Let's go live. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 1st of December. So, first things first, let's look at the potential news events that could affect us today. Then just refresh this, bring things up to date. So we have got I was just looking to see if we had non-farm payrolls there. Why is non-farm payrolls not kicking into play there? Are we that far behind everything? Or is it this is out of sync? I was looking to see what week we're in. It should be a non-farm payrolls first Friday of the month, but there's no mention of it there for some reason. Maybe just a oversight. Anyway, who knows? They're catching up when they can probably, and that might be the key thing here. Right, so OPEC meeting still rattling. Should be finished Monday 1st then. So we've got ISM manufacturing PMI later. Not a great deal here at 3 p.m. to move the markets on this point of view. Let's just have a quick look at the in fact, I'm just going to do a quick refresh on this. And who we got? Any speakers today? Bank of England speaker at 3:30, but not a great deal. No scheduled speakers again on here. Yep, there is some low-key data coming out there, but it's not the sort of data that knocks the markets. Right, okay, let's go looking, see what's going on here then, technically. Right, so the euro dollar, it's got a bit of a kick to the initial step there. From the I'm going to come back to those dailies there, and we're running back into the daily 50 here, so it'll be interesting to see sort of what reaction we get to this. It air kissed it last time. It touched it and sort of reacted by looks of things at the moment. There'll be a divergence of sorts across the tops there. Okay. It's quite ugly as it sits here at the moment. The overall picture, if you took the 50 EMA off the chart, would be slightly more positive. Friday was a bit of a mess. It's a real game of two halves there, dropping for the rest of the morning there through till 10 o'clock and then bouncing back off that. It did go a little bit further than I really expected it to. It was such a quiet day on Friday. Of course, it's Cyber Monday today. But that's to buy goodies rather than anything else. Yeah, not euro. I don't really like it, but if it breaks through that 50 MA, I could be looking on the long side, I think is the answer for that one. The pound dollar still rather ugly here on the daily. You see on the dailies, doji. Well, goodness knows what we're going to end up with today, but consolidation phase really effectively, and it looks. I mean, Friday went through pretty quietly. It started going off there at 9 o'clock, only to turn back all the way. Glad I kept out of this. There was the temptation was there on following the 8 o'clock bar, but anyway, it's chopping along sideways at the moment. Not of any real interest as it sits here. It could easily roll as well if the euro's rolling. The pound could be following suit there. Right, Japanese yen then on the dailies we've got like a flag pattern sitting in here, selling at the moment, dropping off at the moment. The dollar against the yen last week was a real choppy old range there. It seems to have broken to the downside eventually. Again though, already today it's down to its S3. not really appearing too good there. Aussie dollar always looks positive. It certainly looks like one of the more positive of the markets here. Slightly down on its close, and it's consolidating where it's sitting at the moment, but a break of the highs here could see further upside maybe this afternoon now. But it's quite ugly as it sits right now in the short time frame here, but things can change post 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock time. We might start to see it break. I'd rather be trading it this afternoon than this morning, but we'll see what happens there. US dollar CAD, now you can see this has had quite a correction there on Friday. Lower highs breaking down quite solidly, but did get quite a bounce there, and we're sort of somewhere in between. We're not right consolidating around the lows there. It's a bit of an anyway trade here. My preference with what was going on previously is really to the downside. Again, this is one that I'd rather be trading this afternoon than this morning, though. We'll see how it picks up. When I say this afternoon, probably after midday, ideally 1 or 2 o'clock. If it starts showing its hand a bit more, then quite like the idea on the short side. I don't know what I really want. I'm looking at New Zealand. It's been chopping quite a lot here. Let's just come on it. There we go, on the short term frame. Well, actually, I'm not saying that. It's getting towards its sort of overbought sort of area if you're looking at this regression channel. It's got a bit of divergence over the 4 hourlies there, probably, he says. And it's consolidating where it is at this stage here. A bit like the Aussie, though, it could tear off, and but again, my preference would be when we get a bit more volume through this afternoon. Right, okay. So the major's not really showing me too much. The Swissy, I'll just finish off with the Swissy there. It's strengthened here as well. So we've seen quite a few of these markets, more safety looking things, and CAD coming off here. So the yen strengthened against the dollar. Lower highs, lower lows here. This does look like it could continue to the downside. Certainly on the short time frame here, but just be careful running into 8 o'clock as ever. Right, okay, let's look at the other suspects. Gold. So gold shifting up here. High low coming through. Really quite really continuing what it was up to last week. Really, there it was slow for a lot of the time last week. We come back to the 4 hourlies, it was chopping along for a lot of the time, but it seems to be seeing the money again. Uncertainty kicking around. Equity markets, let's just look at oil first. Oil's up a couple of percent today at the moment, but it's been running largely downwards. It's probably no surprise to see it talked up a little bit with OPEC meetings. Okay, so it's back. There'll be a trend line across the top of these highs. It's back towards that trend line. Structurally on the lower time frames here, it's switched sides a little bit more over the last part of last week. High lows, higher highs coming through. You see it back maybe on the 4 hourly, so maybe if you've got a trend change there, let's just pop this on. We are going to see something a little bit more, but not quite yet. But it's certainly pitching towards the upside, but realistically there's a lot of supply available. Okay, equity markets down this morning already. S&P's down over 0.5%. Looking quite soft here with a divergent sort of movement there, which has been triggered between. See if it gets back to the pivot. Yeah, it's just looking at how it ended last week. It was quite positive, but did have the markets closed for quite some time there. Iffy, I think, is the thing here on the dailies. When you come back to the dailies, it's looking quite positive with Thanksgiving, Good Friday, and the closed down because the markets, because they were had technical problems, but did eventually pick up. But it does look soft. FTSE. Bear flag. You don't know where this is going really at the moment. It's not that obvious. High lows, high highs on the intermediate. It still looks positive. A bounce off the weekly pivot there could be of interest if it gets back down that way. But again, quite messy, leading into the end of last week. Quite flat, unsure of itself. For DAX then. So the DAX, it's rolled into its 34 on the dailies there. Probably a bit of divergence across the highs there on the 4 hourlies, looking softish here. It was looking a lot softer a moment ago. This was a big red bar kicking through about 20 minutes, half an hour ago. But yeah, it's look again, it's looking like it wants to go down there. This could be a short later, but again, I quite like shorting it, but during a US session is probably some of the better sessions with it. Right, okay, that's pretty much it for today. Not a great deal there at this stage. I think markets might shape out. Give it a bit of time. I was asked the question this morning, where do I think these markets are going to do for the rest of the month? Is the answer to that? Not got a clue. If you look at how, I mean, say the DAX here has been over since June, it's been chopping up and down. I mean, a lot of these markets are a little bit undecided in terms of where they're going. You come back to the euro here, it's in that same sort of, you know, it's a bit rangy, especially on the dailies here on the more recently. Getting into some little trends though. There are some trends there, so there is some potential of trends to continue, but most of these are quite short-lived. Right, so who knows? We normally get the Santa Claus rally. Whether that will come, we'll see. It's got a high probability of happening, but that doesn't mean say it will happen. Right, I'll catch you later, and anyway, that's later in the month. I will speak to you in the morning. Take care. Bye for now.